That's a tongue twister. Dear friend. Hey, friend. And we're
They got to
here.
excuse how I look today.
We're here. And we just chilling today. Y'all know what the podcast is about. We talk about overcoming grief and just
Mm-hmm.
not just overcoming it, but living in it and existing with it and being able to deal with each challenge as we have to face it. I guess that's the best way. Because I mean, just in these people been doing this podcast, I've learned so much and I've grown so much. And I know you have too. When
Yeah,
you say that,
yeah,
say that's fair to say.
yes, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, even in how I treat you and how I look at you, how our friendship is has
Mm-hmm.
changed because I think at first I was protective and scared and cautious. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? I didn't want nobody to say nothing to you. I didn't want nobody to be around you. And then it started with like, I can bring a couple of people around. It's okay. She ain't gonna break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And we can go to a comedy show, we can go to a game, we can go out to eat, but I was
yeah.
afraid. And I think a lot of people
Uh-oh. I don't know what happened.
uh-oh,
Uh-oh. It said you
I don't
are
know
the
what
host
happened.
now. I was like, uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Yeah. So I'm just saying that,
I'm the
with
host
us being
myself.
friends,
Yeah.
we've evolved and I think that this is good talking about this. What you think?
No, I think I definitely agree. This is something that you have to keep talking about. It can't just be a one-time thing, 3 time, 5 time, because this is something that is all day, every day, subconsciously when you least expect it. I just recently went through something this past weekend. I have days where all of a sudden I'm just like, ooh, like I really don't want to go there. And that used to never happen to me. And I thank God I was able to go to the family reunion that I was telling you about. Because on Thursday
Right.
I was feeling really weird. But a lot of times what I'll do is if I'm able to really push through it, I just take my anxiety medicine.
What
Because for a
happened
long
actually, if you don't mind sharing?
nothing happened. Nothing happened. It's just getting close to my son's birthday. My son's a birthday is a week after mine, August 7th. So it's just that your subconscious mind never sleeps. So even if you're not aware of it,
Right.
your subconscious mind is like your second first brain, if that makes sense. So
Right.
when things are going on, it hit your subconscious and then start hitting your emotions, and then you're wondering like, why am I feeling this way? What's going on with me? Why am I crying today? I was just fine 2 seconds ago. So it's just
How would Chauncey
getting.
be? How old would he be this year?
Uh, Chad would be 27 this year.
Wow.
So
So
even though
he
you
was
try
2 years older than Kara.
yeah, 2 years older. Yeah. Each set was
Oh,
two
okay.
years older. So even though you try to prepare for it, it's still a hard thing to do. The other thing that I was getting ready for is one of my son's best friends. This is his. He has a couple of them, but one already had a baby. I think she's 2 or 3, but another friend of his had a baby. So this was her first birthday. So trying to prepare the best way I can for that. It's bittersweet, but also exciting at the same time to see how I watch, the both of them grow, graduate from high school. Now his
Yeah.
friend is starting his own family. What is going on? I disabled the notifications. I'm sorry, it's still coming through. But anyway, I'm sorry. I must hit the wrong thing. So it's still exciting. At the same time, it does hit the emotions to where it does mess with me, and I have to tell myself not to focus on it. Don't take that in, because I do go through a thing of not being able to be a grandmother. So that does affect me. That's something that I do want to be. A lot of people are like, well, why didn't you just have more kids? I did go through that, but then I decided that's not what I wanted to do. So,
Right. Right.
but I think that was best for me, especially on the journey that I'm going down. So,
Yeah. Well, you can have grandchildren. I mean,
Yeah.
if you get married and your husband has children, knowing you as I know you, they will be your
Mhm.
grandchildren, and you don't believe in that step and all of that. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that
I don't.
I think
So,
that you would just be those would be your grandbabies, and you would love them.
right.
It wouldn't be no different.
Exactly. And that's what I would want. So, if I'm in a relationship with someone, hopefully long term, they have children, I would treat them as my own. That's
I
something I
know.
would
Yeah.
definitely do
And
because
I
I
think that's
love
gonna be the
children.
beauty.
Children are
That's
a
gonna be one of
blessing.
yeah, that's beautiful. And I think
Yeah.
that's when you'll
Mm-hmm.
start adding to your family. It's amazing how
Mm-hmm.
God can even add to your family after a tragedy. Or, I mean, I look at it like my baby Elijah, he's 17. And it's like I got another son because his best friend, he's not really around his mom as much. And I get it. And so
Mm-hmm.
he's kind of like grown to me. So, and
Right.
I just give him the same privileges. He be asking for money for gas, just like my baby, and I'd be like, cash
Mm-hmm.
apping him too.
Right. Yeah. But
Well, you know
it's a
how we are.
blessing to it's a blessing when you have different people come into your life, different kids. I didn't even realize 'cause I've been taking care of kids since I was 9 years old because my mom
Right.
had her own daycare. So one young lady, I call her my Juju bee. Her name's Julia. So when she was up here with her dad, um, I'm not gonna get like all in personal into her story, but
Right.
things happen in life. So
Yeah.
I ended up her dad was a friend of a guy I was dating in years ago. So I was watching her and her brother, and I noticed growing up she was, very emotional, cried a lot. And I would just hug her like, Julia, it's okay, but then she came up this summer. So this was the first time I've seen her since I don't know, probably like 10 or 11 years old or something like that.
Wow.
I mean, I seen we kept in touch, like, on the phone and on Instagram, but to see her in person as a young adult in her 20s, I think she's 28 now. So I really wanted to just like start crying. I was so emotional,
Oh.
and we talked about so many different things, and she shared with me some things of what was going on with her at that time. I just didn't know that. And when I looked up, she was crying. All I could do was just hug her. And then she just said that I can't remember her exact words, but she said I was her lifesaver or saving grace. I was like her mom at that time.
Oh.
And you
Her
never know.
angel. Yeah.
Yeah, she said, also the other thing she said, because at the time I had just only Kara and Chadney, and she said, well, me and my brother are just like Kara and Chadney, and and her and Chadney had a lot of similarities and things like that. So that just I really wanted to bawl my eyes out and really, I mean, I just hugged her tighter, but I knew that like if I let that cry, it's gonna be one of them ugly cries, and everybody in the restaurant is
Ah!
gonna be looking at us. But it touched me so much because I didn't know I affected her like that. So that
Yeah.
made me feel good, and you never know what you're imparting into someone's lives.
I can imagine, I'm thinking about you because you always talk about them ugly cries. But I can just imagine, I mean, when you said that, it kind of pierced my heart actually, because I was
Yeah.
thinking about probably the ugliest cries when all of that happened, and when you could
Hmm.
realize that you wasn't dreaming. And I think
Hmm.
during that time that probably took that was a period of time for you to figure it out. Like when the incident first happened, how long did it take you to realize that my children are really were gone? Because I know it was some space between that where you was like, this can't be
Hmm.
real.
It probably took a long time. I can't really tell you how long since all this
Right,
happened. It's like I can't remember like time and days and hours and stuff like that. That's
right.
something that I struggle with now. But it took a while. It took a while. Even sometimes now I still catch myself. But I think that's just being a mom. Once you have a
Right.
life growing inside of you, and you spent so much time, you bonded and you done some things, it's just in you. It doesn't I don't think it ever really goes away, no matter how much you might want it to, so it doesn't hurt. but I don't think it goes away because I still catch myself sometimes like, oh, I can't, even though
Right.
September be 8 years, I still catch myself, So,
Yeah,
but I
you
know
right. I found my,
it took a while.
you know what?
Oh, go
And the
ahead.
reason I asked you that, because I find myself not even at first, I would say, not even mentioning like the podcast, because I didn't want people to ask me what it was about. Do that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I had to realize that I wasn't really sharing it because of, I don't know, for some reason I felt like even though we wanted people to know, that's why I think that when people do these kind of things, they don't know people. They just be like, journalist, and they just asking questions to you. Like when you was on that show, well, you've been on a few of them, but you know what I'm talking about. They just interviewing you,
Yeah.
asking questions, and they ain't even showing their face a lot of these times because, and I see why. Because it's hard for somebody to deal with that know you for one, and that can look at you and while you saying it. You know what I mean? Because I be feeling like, and I tell people this, and I don't even know if I told you this, but I tell people, I say, let's just say, they'll be like, oh, okay, your friend Faith. I say, let's just say, they ask me what happened. I say, let's just say, Faith is one of those friends that if she called me and I'm in a meeting, I would answer it. And I kind of leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I don't want to get into too much. And you know what? And I had to realize that that's part of getting through that is talking about. So you know what? I started just telling people about it when they asked me. And then I found out that they were like, they shut down too. Like they didn't want to talk about that no more. You know what I'm saying?
Because
they wanted to
go
talk
ahead.
about it only in private. Like they didn't want to talk about it in front of other people. So that's why it's important that we do this, because it's people that feel different ways. People feel uncomfortable, but you need to be uncomfortable because it's people like that out here, like regularly out here, and they living in your house. You know what I'm saying? And you might recognize one of these characteristics.
Exactly. And one thing I tell people too, like before I disclose or tell them anything, I tell them, let me tell you this, I have no problem telling you what happened, but it's sometimes I say it's beyond effed up, or depending on who I'm talking to, but like it's very, very beyond imaginable. So they can start trying to prepare their emotions
You
and
have to
things.
prepare.
Yeah, because some people are empaths. So you don't know where somebody's at emotionally. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to put them over. The other thing is sometimes when people say like, oh, they'll pull me to the side, they want to talk in private, then they start sharing some things about themselves or somebody that they know that might need help, things like that. So that happens also. But I'm gonna always continue to share my story because it's needed. Even though I've been dragged through the mud, I'm so the news, social media, all of that, I still have to do it, from not
Yeah.
knowing to now knowing and learning, So a lot of people that say like, well, how could you not know, or how could you not know these things? Sometimes if things aren't disclosed to you, or sometimes if you grow up a certain way, you can be naive, or you just don't know. Or sometimes when you're talking to the people, sometimes you're not talking to the right people that can get you the information or the help that you need. And that was the big part of what was going on during that time. I'm sharing with people, but nobody's saying like, oh, you can go over here. And I'm not faulting them because that's where they're at.
Yeah.
And they probably didn't know or whatever, or either because I'm close to them and they're just like, oh, well, you maybe need to do this or do that, So, but some people just don't
And your
know. Some people don't
problem
know what
in
to
their
say to you.
defense, your problem in their defense, your problem was kind of like a new kind of problem because nobody really had did nothing like this before. You know what I mean? So they didn't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what do we tell her? We never had nobody kill their kids like this, So I think in their defense, I was in that same situation though. Like I didn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then me being always wanting to help, I was like, what can I do? Well, this is what I can do. I know how to talk. I know how to do podcasts. I know how to do these things. So maybe we can raise some awareness this way. And I think too many times people don't want to bother you because they feel like it might be uncomfortable, you know.
Okay.
For
But
them
if it's
to,
uncomfortable, I do know how to open my mouth and say, you know what, this is not the time right now to talk about it. I might look all like, no, I know how to tell you, like, and you know, or either say it in a way where I could just be like ABC, be done, you know. But it's but the more people you come in contact with over time, you can tell from the people that are really sincere and the people that just want to be nosy, you know, the ones that don't even really care or any of that. So you kind of get a discernment for that. So because I had people like I had people message me. I had a girl one time message me. This is probably about 6 years ago. She was a friend of mine. You know, first she was just like, hey, blah blah blah, and I just seen her. I didn't really know her. I didn't know her for just being at, you know, my friends, the kids' birthday parties, that kind of stuff. And then she just tried to ask me about. I just was like, block. So I'm like, you don't get to ask me anything. First of all, I don't even really know you, and you're being nosy, you know. So yes, you're gonna get blocked, you know.
right. Your
So, but I
screen
mean, people,
froze. Okay.
what's going on? Okay, so um, what was
I
I gonna
don't
say? I
blame
lost
you. You
myself.
have to protect yourself mentally
Right,
too.
I do. And the thing is, you know,
Yeah.
some of my friends and family were like, don't read the comments. At times I have read the comments, especially like in the first year, a couple times I read comments. People, there was a young lady that I know, but I see her from time to time, and she'll be like, hey, hey, blah blah. I just say hey, keep it cordial. But I mean, she made some remarks about me. You know, she um I guess kind of grew up going to my dad's church because our mom would come there or whatever. But I mean, the thing is, people are so quick to judge, not knowing everything, you know. So unless you know the whole
Yeah.
story, so. But I mean,
I
I don't
mean,
know.
it
I
should
mean,
be
I don't know.
nothing that you could have did to warrant that. It don't even matter. You know what I'm
No,
saying with the
no,
comment, you know?
no,
It really
right.
don't. That just really make me mad. I'm going to go looking for her. No, I'm just kidding.
I
We
just
ain't
let
gonna
it
do
go
that. We ain't
because
gonna do that.
no, you know what the thing is, you just get to a point, you just let it go. You can't hold it because the thing is, what I realized, the world that we live in now is it just keeps getting worse. That's what people feed off of. People love negativity. People love drama. That's what they like. They like that more than the
Right.
positivity.
That's true. That's true. And you got to stay centered. And that's why I try to keep busy and stay in the positive things. And I noticed that, you know, I get blessed from that, you know, and I believe that that's what's going to come from this. I really do. I believe that something good is going to come from this horrific event. I do. And I'm hoping that by sharing the story and seeing, you know, what people can do, people will see those characteristics and maybe they might see those signs in their loved one or somebody that's living in their house. And they can say, wait a minute, I seen that on Keeping the Faith. And, you know, those are things to maybe look at and just check into it and pray about it and, you know, and document or whatever you need to do to get you to a better place. But don't always think that you just crazy or it's just, you know, something that, you know, you might be thinking that's not true, or, you know, you might be on to something. So,
All right.
you know,
That's how
that
we
get
got
that discernment.
our gut feeling or our intuition too, you know. So we have that for a
So,
reason.
so you talked a little bit about friendship and how friendship has changed for you over the last 8 years. You look at things a lot differently. You have new friends, you have new family. You and we kind of talked about how family does not always come in the form of blood. I have a lot of extended family, and I just, you know, adore them. So they've helped me through so many things. And I think when you go through trials, you kind of realize that family is not just blood too.
Exactly.
You know? So now love, that's an interesting subject because love is kind of what made you a mother.
Mhm.
Love is what made you a wife. And it's a thin line, they always say. So what does the future look like for faith and love? What do you think?
What I can say clearly now, because before when I was dating and in a relationship, it wasn't for me. They weren't the one for me. So what I can say now is that I'm more healthy state of mind mentally. Because before I was just like, oh, I'm thinking I'm okay. No, I was so messed up. Half the time I didn't know if I was coming, going, all of that. And I didn't have no business dating or anything like that. Even though it was somebody that I knew from teenage. You're a teenager, you don't know that person as an adult. So sometimes they have some good things, and other times they don't have no good things for you. So, but I can say now I'm healthily dating, which I really, really like.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, it linked out, sorry. So I can say I'm healthily dating, and I don't post them or anything like that, but we do a lot of talking. I love that. We both talk about different types of traumas in our lives. He's very encouraging me. He's very encouraging to me. He supports me when I have my speaking engagements. He goes with me if most of the time he's able to go with me. So I do appreciate that, because you need a partner who's gonna help bounce you out and help support you in whatever it is that you're doing. This is part of my journey as well as my business as well. So the thing is, and I want to be able to support him in his. So it has to be a partnership. So
Right.
so that's going really, really, really good. So I like
That's a
that.
blessing. I'm
And
glad that you didn't give up on love.
you know what, I never did. It would be scary at times. It would be scary at times, but I didn't. And one thing my cousin, she told me, she was like, Faith, you always been in love with love. I like that saying, but you got to make sure you have a balance with it. So, and that's how
Yeah.
I always been. I always been a lover of children, people, but now I just have more of a balance, because I'm so much of a giver and a lover and a nurturer and want to help people, but I have to make sure I'm listening to my intuition when it comes to
Right.
helping
Exactly.
people.
Oh,
Because
well, that's
everybody,
beautiful.
everybody, everybody don't want help. Some people just want to be a user.
Yeah. Somebody, yeah. And that's what we pray for. So a little bit about what I did since the last episode. I kind of told you that
Mhm.
I went on a silent retreat.
Right.
And
Yes. Yes. We didn't get a chance to talk about that.
yes, I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So the silent retreat was at Manresa. It's in Bloomfield Hills. It's 40 acres, beautiful grounds. And I had the opportunity to, and I say the opportunity to listen to God's voice, because my own was not interfering. And it's truly a blessing, because I am a talker. So to let my voice rest for a weekend was a blessing. It was beautiful, because I
Hmm.
prayed and I asked God for so many things. I take a list from year to year. This is my third year going. So every year I make sure all year I'm collecting all of the things that I want to pray for. And you
Okay.
definitely were on that list.
Thank you.
And it's amazing to me. I could just see a lot of, because I asked God specifically, I said, Lord, show me how to be a friend to faith. Those were my specific words. And he has shown me that. And it's basically, you know, be there and support you in anything you need, anything, show up for you, be committed. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm doing it. If I'm doing your brows, I'm doing your brows. I'm doing
Oh yeah, I'll be
whatever.
calling you soon. Try to get you
Right,
before you
for
go out of
sure. But I'm
town.
just using that as an example.
Yeah.
And he answered that for me and said, basically that's what I'm doing. And I asked God to show me how to be a friend, to be a better friend. And that's one of the things I pray for. I also pray for you not to give up on love. Uh-oh, I need to disable my zone. Hold on. Okay, sorry. I didn't
Okay.
disable my notifications. But, I asked God that, and I asked God, I said, show me, you know, how to be a friend to Faith, and show me, guide me on what we should do, and bless our friendship so that we can bring awareness to grief and let people know that people deal with grief on different levels, and it's continuous. It is.
Right.
It's continuous, but that's okay. And also, I think God wants me to raise awareness to people and friends or family of people that are grieving too, because you are
Right.
grieving as well. We are grieving as well. Like, I have a thought. I was just thinking about, I saw something. I was by Southfield High School and I thought about Kara. And
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, it was just a random thought. And like, I know that, 9, 10 years ago, probably at the school, she probably was doing something fun with her friends. And it's just like, so that was that was kind of grieving that, grieving her, even though, I wasn't in her life. But it's strange that I find myself, like when I went past Bex Howard and I found out it wasn't in Southfield no more, but I thought about Chauncey, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like God is bringing them to me and making them part of my life, even after their life. And so I just accept that. And I thought about them on the silent retreat, and I pray for them. I pray for their friends. I pray for those that grieve them. And it was, when you get a whole weekend to pray, you can get a lot done. And I'm saying you can even pray for friends of friends of friends. You know what I mean? So it was a beautiful thing. I was off of the grid. I wasn't on no social media that weekend. I didn't talk on the phone. I checked my phone in the morning and at night. So anybody knew if if they didn't catch me at that time, I did not respond to anything, no. Unless it was an emergency, and I thank God I didn't have any. But it was just beautiful for me to kind of like shut off life, like turn life off, and still live, if that makes sense. I was able to not care about what went on in the world, not be interfered by the news. I didn't watch no TV. And you know what? That is a beautiful thing. And I think that's something that I want to do for you. And whenever you can, I'm going to send you the dates, and I want you to think about going. I'm going to pay for it, so don't worry about it. Nothing.
Okay.
But I do want you to consider, because I think it's something, it's not real. It's a Catholic place, but it don't even matter about that. It's the fact that you get to just be in your own thoughts and hear, the voice.
I think that's really, really needed, because we need to quiet our minds down, quiet our souls down. And that's something that I like to do. Like, I like to go to the park and do that. But and it's, to me, that's really soothing and calming, especially when it's like really nobody there and you find a spot you just relax and just let go. Especially like by the water. I love water.
Do you eat when you at the park? Do you eat?
Nope. Oh, depends on. No, well, depending on what I'm going for. So if I'm just going to hang out, then I'll take, like, I usually have like a little grill I keep in the back of my truck, and I'll cook some stuff, and usually I got to get another tent, but I would have, like, I'll just out there and just relax. But if I'm just going to, like, for my mind, I'm not eating. I'm just sitting there. Not so much, like, kind of like you said, maybe it's, I guess it's like praying, but it's like just letting your mind relax. You're not thinking about all these things. You're being, what I'm saying, listening to the water, and that's what I'm doing. When I do that, I'm not eating.
I listen to white noise when I sleep. Do you listen to it, or fan or anything like that in the background?
I haven't done that in a while. Every once in a while I'll do that. Actually, funny to say that, because Alexa, I tell her to turn off my lights. You want to listen to some rain sounds? And I was like, no. Then I was like thinking, like, I need to start listening to something again when I go to sleep, because I've always had trouble sleeping, and then after the kids, it just got worse. So that's something I probably need to start
I
doing
listen to
again.
white noise. I listen to white noise and pink noise. Those are my two
Okay.
favorites.
I haven't
And
heard of pink noise, but sometimes I can't listen to nothing. Sometimes I just have to be like, oh, I just need it absolute quiet. But and sometimes I do need something.
right. Well, they
Yeah.
say absolute quiet we've never experienced. And if you do experience it, then you probably wouldn't live long or something. You ever heard that? Like if you was in a room like that was
Mm-mm.
soundproof, like totally no sound, they said you couldn't
Mm-hmm.
live there long. If you can't, like
Mm-hmm.
we think it's silent because we don't hear nothing, but it's really like a lot of noise. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's like empty space or whatever. I don't know. I
Okay. Mm.
watching them documentaries or whatever. It was something on
It probably
Science
has some.
Channel,
It
and
probably
they
has some
talk
truth
about.
to it. Probably because you're so used to
Yeah, they
having
said
hearing a little bit of
absolute
noise, and then it
silence is like deafening.
probably go crazy.
Yeah. Can you imagine, like if you couldn't hear nothing, like even like clapping of your hand, like you move, you doing like this, or you touching yourself, you can't feel nothing or hear nothing, you probably be like freaking out. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I heard.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not. But
Maybe I don't know. I'm gonna look it
tell
up.
we've gotten calmer too. Right. I, when
Uh-oh, I think it's breaking up a
at
little bit.
first, when I first started doing this, like so really,
I
really,
don't know.
really emotional. And
Yeah, I
I
remember
had to
that. And
turn on
I
my
told you.
midwife.
Oh, it's going in and out.
You said what?
I said it's going in and out. Something was going on with the connection. You froze.
Oh,
I don't know.
well, and we get some supporters out there and some people to commit to us and do like a subscription.
Mm-hmm. It's off again. Uh-oh. A temporary interruption, but Helen will be right back. I don't know if she has the control, so I don't know. I think she's almost
Okay.
back.
I was saying, they give to
Uh-oh.
your foundation and a monthly subscription, and maybe we can get some help with our internet connection. Because right now we just going off what we got in our house. We ain't doing nothing special.
Right.
Well, we
Mm-hmm.
hopefully
Yep.
we can grow the
I
budget
can't
and
see
get
you now, but I can hear you. I can hear you though. I don't know
podcast.
what happened.
You can hear me.
I can
I
hear you.
see
I just
you
can't
and
see you.
hear you.
I don't know why I can't see you.
Okay.
Well,
Well, it's
but I mean
recording me
that.
on my
Yeah,
end, so
yeah, that's okay though.
oh no,
This should be okay.
hold on. I was just getting a call because I didn't disable. Can you see me now?
Oh, it's oh, I see you now.
Okay.
Yep, I see you
Okay.
now.
So
Yeah.
we about finished anyway. But yeah, if you guys want to support, Faith will give me the information on how we can do that, and I'll have that up when we have this podcast up. So we'll give that information. Or if you know it, Faith, I don't know what to your
Um,
foundation and
um, you can
well,
do
we'll have some at that time.
yeah, well, I mean, if you want to, I was trying to think what was easier to do. You can do Faith Foundation LLC4@gmail.com. You can do Zelle or Cash App to that email if
Okay,
they want to do
that's
that.
perfect.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm gonna put it on the screen and make it look cute for
Okay.
everybody,
All right.
so they can
Work
have
your
that.
magic.
Yeah,
Work your
just help us
magic.
out. Yeah, we'll do that, and then that way we can get some support because we're trying to grow the channel, get more. This is like a forever channel, so it'll be around when we're not around, and people will probably be watching stuff like this because grief never really
Grief.
changes.
Yep, and it's always going to be here. So, and it's a process, and it's a process to your healing. Healing, there's no time limit on healing, and don't ever let anyone ever rush you and tell you how you need to heal. As long as it's in a healthy way, there's no book for it really, but just as long as you're not doing things that are too extreme and things like that, make sure you always have someone that you can talk to, that you know that you can really trust, even if you think, oh, this is the silliest thing to say, but sometimes you just need to talk about it because that's something that's going on inside of you. So make sure that you're always doing that. See a therapist, psychiatrist, counselor. That always helps. Have a circle of friends or family that you can always lean on. And just know if anything happens with family, things like that, the trauma brings up a lot of stuff along with the grief. So if you need to set boundaries, make sure you set boundaries. You can always come back and revisit with that person if that's what you choose to do. Just make sure all interactions are healthy, because people do prey on your emotions and stuff and things like that, especially when you're healing, or when you're first going through, or just different places in your life. Even when you think back, sometimes you might have been hanging with this person or dating that woman or that girl or this guy. Then you're like, oh Lord, like you think about like, ooh, like why was I dating him? Because that's where you were at that moment in your life.
Right.
So we just have to make sure we're being, healthy. Sometimes we can't see it when we're going through it, but we always got to have that friend or somebody that's telling us, okay, friend, even though we don't want to hear it, you doing this or
I
you doing
believe that
that.
too. Yeah, because I think about
Mhm.
like even my old boyfriends, they was cheesy. Like I look at them now, but
Mhm.
they were needed for something. Like I needed them for something. Like I was like, if I attached a lesson to each one of them, I could see it clear. Oh, this was because I needed to learn patience. This one was because, I needed to learn how to tell people no. Or this, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? So you're right
Mhm.
about that.
Yep, exactly.
Where
Exactly.
you are in life.
Mhm.
Right now, I wouldn't have been with the guy that I liked in the 8th grade. If I see him on
Right.
Facebook and he ain't right.
Right. Yep, exactly. Because when you
With
look
that
back
being
now,
said,
you just be like, oh Lord, what did I see in them?
right.
Everybody
Sure do. I do that
everybody
all the time,
isn't for us. Yeah. And then, some people, they camouflage who they really are. I had a guy tell me, I use my tragedy to get what I want, and just because I wasn't giving him access to me. So if that was the case, hey, I would be paid. I would not be struggling. But the thing is, that's not my personality. I'm not a
Right.
user. I'm the type of
No,
person,
it's
I'm a
not.
go getter. I'm gonna
They've
get
been
it
trying
myself.
to
But if
get
that
you. They've been trying to get you to do that. So
yeah.
when I mean, definitely ain't about no money. We know that. I
No,
do
for sure it's
anyway.
not. Yeah. But
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
yeah.
what this is things that people say, say to you. So because you set up that boundary and told them no, so I can't have access to you anymore, or
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. That's something though. But yeah, we just growing. I think every time we do this, it gets a bit easier, and it's kind of
mhm.
like healing. Like at first, it
it
was
it
painful.
is, yeah.
And
I think
as
it's
you do
always
a
going to
little more,
be.
it gets a little like I love Kara's episode. I love that episode because it was kind of like the happier time. It kind of showed, like it was like a good part, how you supposed to memorialize a person that you love.
Right. And then also, you know what it is? I love birthdays. I love birthdays more than any holiday. That's one thing. Like, if people really get to know me and know who I am, like I want to celebrate you. That's how I am. I love that more than the Christmas holidays. I mean, I liked it because my kids love the holidays, but I love birthdays more than anything. Like, I don't even keep up with holidays no more. Half the time I don't even know when they coming. But if you tell me it's your birthday and you want to do something, I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna make
Yes.
sure, if because that's
All right,
something
October 2nd.
about you.
I already told you October 2nd. I'm having a
Hmm.
Harlem. Oh, you'll love this because I'm having a Harlem night theme birthday
Yeah,
party.
you said that right.
You
Yeah, you
know
said
you
that.
love a good theme.
I do. I
So
do. You know, I like to dress
yes,
up too. So
I know we good for that. That was nice. We was
hmm
everybody had we. It was only a couple of us that had hats at that event that we went to, and
Okay.
everybody loved my hat. I had the little
Yeah,
fascinator
your hat was
on. It was
nice.
cute.
hmm
Yeah, everybody. I got a lot of compliments on that because of that hat. I love little tea
Yeah.
hats and stuff. That's cute.
Yeah, that
So,
was cute. That was real
but yeah,
cute.
it's been beautiful. Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
beautiful,
So
and thank you guys for
probably our
watching the
oh, so before we
fave.
go, so probably like our next episode with one thing I do want to talk is about like narcissistic people. We're not gonna just say just men because it's men and women. So that's we are gonna have an episode where we talk about narcissism. So that's something that
Okay.
definitely needed to be talked about.
Oh, hold on. Let me X out of here.
Okay. Well, everyone have a
All
good
right.
night.
Hold on. Okay. I had to let you be the
Okay.
host for a minute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you, everybody. And we will see you next time on Keeping the Faith. God bless. And we'll have all the information to any information that we can give you to maybe help you with grief. I do know that there's a faith-based program called griefshare.org. And you can go to that program and find, put in your zip code, and you can find organizations that are near you and talk about your grief, because we all need somebody to talk to. And I found it beneficial sometimes when you talk to people that you don't know and they don't have any bias. So that is
Yeah.
one resource for you, and I'll make sure I list that as well. Until next time, God bless.
All right. Good night.